guys, welcome back to Sowing Seeds of Love. This is a video that I've been wanting to make, and for some reason the moment that I start making pickles I always forget to record, so I'm having my son record right now. But anyways, I just wanted to tell you that I'm really excited because I've been making these lately. I don't know if you want to zoom in on this side. I've been making these jars of pickles and they've been coming out really good. This is the last of my cucumbers. They were in my fridge, and as you can tell, they're not as fresh as they were, but they're still going to be good for pickles. So let me tell you a little bit about how I've been making these pickles. Normally, if I'm going to can like salsa, or if I'm going to can something else like peppers, I'll use the whole canning process. But with these are actually fermented dill pickles. Okay, and what does that mean is, I don't know if you know this, but back in the ancient times, before there were refrigerators and all that fancy stuff, people would preserve their food with salt. So this is actually, what I did is I took 3 cups of water, and I did use this drinking water. You're not supposed to use anything that's chlorinated, or that's from the tap water. You're going to want to use something that's like drinking water or distilled water. But anyway, so I go ahead and put 3 cups of water, and then I went ahead, this is just, it's not actually the Himalayan pink salt in here. What's in here is actually Redmond's real salt, and it does say ancient fine sea salt. I got this off of Amazon, and I will put the link in the video. I really, really love this salt. But anyways, I refilled it with the one that was in here. It's very fine, but this is very pure sea salt, okay? And so what I do is I put 2 tablespoons of that sea salt in here, and then I just mix it up really good. And by the way, you can use any sea salt. You just don't want to use anything with that, like the fake stuff. I don't know what that's called, but I use this salt and I really, really like it. So anyways, I just mix it up really, really good, get that going. That's going to be my saltwater brine to make these cucumbers. I washed these really good. As you can see, these are the last part of my cucumbers because I did take it down. But I use this, I got from Pampered Chef, and it, anything that looks cute, it crinkles the cucumbers. And all I do is just cut these. I do cut the ends off here. And then I do use 1 clove of garlic. I have some fresh dill. And then these are fresh bay leaves. You can actually get these also at H-E-B. But these are bay leaves. And so the bay leaves is supposed to help the crunch in the pickle. And then obviously the dill gives it its flavor. And I do put a couple of 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, depending on what size jar you're using. And then I found these on Amazon, because when you ferment, you want the salt water to stay always above the vegetables, because you don't want to get any kind of bad bacteria. So these little glass weights are perfect for the wide mouth jars, and they actually hold down all the pickles and the vegetables that are in there. The dill, it holds it down. And then these are, when you're done putting everything in and you pour your salt water over, these are actually going to sit somewhere cold, like cool and dark. And every day or so, you're just going to open up the top and burp it. So I know that sounds kind of funny, but it produces gases when you ferment. And I don't know if you know this, but fermenting your vegetables is really good because it has good bacteria and probiotics in it. So it's very healthy for you. Okay, so what I've done is, I don't know if you want to zoom in on this, but what I've done is I cut lots of the cucumbers up, well, the rest of them. So, and I know that they looked kind of wonky, but I promise, they're very crunchy still, so really good. Want some? Okay, so it tastes really, really good. So they've been sitting in my fridge actually for like about 1.5 weeks, almost 2 weeks, and I was like, oh no, they're gonna go bad. So I just wanted to make sure that I got them cut up. And my family really does love these. They call them homemade pickles, is what my daughter calls them. So anyway, so what I always do is I take a couple of the bay leaves, put them down below at the bottom, okay, and then I take my clove of garlic. I did take all the skin off. Oh, I looks like I left some of the skin on this one. Let me just peel this off really good. Make sure there's no skin on the garlic. I mean, it wouldn't hurt it, but it just releases all the flavors if you take off the skin off of the garlic clove. And what I do is I take a flat knife with the blade away from me, obviously, and I just kind of crush down, and then that way it kind of breaks apart the garlic to release the flavors, but I put that at the bottom. Then I go ahead and I take the fresh dill, and I love dill. It smells like pickles, right? Yep. He's like, yeah. Okay, so I love the dill, and actually, I love it so much that I get so frustrated that I tried to plant the seeds for dill, and they were not growing. And so I just went to the store, went to the nursery, Garden Ridge. Is that Duke howling?
Yeah.
My dog's howling, sorry. I went to Rainbow Gardens. Did I say Garden Ridge? I meant Rainbow Gardens. And I went ahead and got me some dill plants, and I'm excited because I planted them, and hopefully they'll take off and go. But anyway, so I put that toward the bottom, and then I just am going to start packing in all the cucumbers in here, and we're going to tightly pack them in. I have seen people cut their cucumbers in spares, or like longer slices. I've seen people use huge jars and use those smaller Boston pickling cucumbers. I really like the flavor of these, and my kids like them sliced because we can put them on sandwiches and burgers, all that, and they really like that. So I'm just gonna make sure that these are really packed. And by the way, I did sterilize these by washing them with really, really hot water and a little bit of soap, but I rinsed them out really, really good. And I also washed the tops really well. I washed the weights. And so let me go ahead and just make sure that these are all tightly packed. About midway, I go ahead and do another piece of garlic and just kind of crack it open like that a little bit. Get some more dill in there. I'm not going to use those stems. Maybe another bay leaf. So I'm going to put that down in there, a little bit more dill. And I just really, really like the flavor of dill. It smells so good. I have to say it's one of my new favorite herbs. So I get these all packed in there. And I'm probably going to leave about a good, I've seen people leave about a ½ inch, but with these weights, I'm going to say about a good inch. And maybe even a little more so because it's got this little part. So, but the whole thing with the pickles is you want to make sure, since you're fermenting them, that the salt water is totally covering the pickles the cucumbers. And so as you can tell, we're kind of reaching toward the top. I don't know if you want to zoom in on that, but there's probably going to be, let's see, definitely enough space. I can probably get a few more cucumbers laying flat, and they just got to be tightly packed because as they sit there on your shelf for about a good 4 or 5 days, and a little bit longer if you want to get them really, really sour. I usually ferment mine for about 5 to 6 days, and then I put them in the fridge and they're ready to go. But what happens is the cucumbers are going to release juice, and sometimes they'll start to float up, and so you don't want that. That's why I end up using these weights. I've seen people pack it so tight that it doesn't really float up. I've done that before, but I just recently got these, and I'm super excited, so I'm going to try them out. So you take your saltwater brine, and sometimes, because it's just regular, temperature, room temperature water, sometimes the salt doesn't dissolve as well. But I don't like to put anything hot or over my pickles because I just think that if they stay cold and fresh like this, there's more nutrients in them instead of trying to cook them up. Okay, so I'm going to pour the salt over. And I'm getting to a point to where they're covered. So I'm going to take my weight and let's see, yeah, I think that's going to work. I might pour just a little bit more salt water over that, but remember, they're going to release their own juice, so you don't want to put too much. And then I have I sterilized and cleaned these lids, and so all you do is just close it up tight. Let's see, usually I want to make sure that this goes probably not going quite over the weight. There it is. So the weight's in there. And these lids are tricky sometimes. Okay, now here's the thing, is this is actually going to sit in my pantry where it's dark in there. I'll put today's date on there, and then every day, maybe once or twice, you're just gonna come and you're just gonna barely crack it open a little bit, and you'll hear like a sound. That means you burped it, and then you just close it. You're not actually lifting up to let any oxygen or anything in. These have to stay closed at all times. You just kind of turning the lid to burp it, and that's it. And these are ready to go. About 5 to 6 days in your pantry, burping it every day. Then they're ready to go in the fridge, and I'll take out the weight, and my family will enjoy them. So thank you for joining me with Sowing Seeds of Love, and this is how I've been fermenting my pickles. The next video is going to be how actually I'm going to can all of the peppers that I've been talking about. I have tons of peppers, and so I'm actually going to be pickling those with the vinegar brine instead, and actually canning. So okay, thank you guys, and I'll get back with you and give you an update on how these came out.